welcome to HistoricHole. My name is David, and this week I'm joined by Sam.
Yo.
As always.
Mhm.
This is the second Sam episode in a row. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. So this week our topic is a lot of things, I think. But what you got a book there? What's your book?
Yeah. I got this book called Enuma Elish. Basically, it means when the heavens above. And yep, it's basically a Babylonian myth. And basically, yeah, a Babylonian myth, and also has the other thing called the Atrahasis, which is the first great flood myth.
Okay.
Oh well, supposedly the first great flood myth.
The first.
Yeah.
First in a long line. A long series of copycats. This was the original.
Yeah. Well, supposedly there's been a lot of civilizations that have had flood stories, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty
But
common.
supposedly Babylonian or Sumerian were kind of the first civilizations around, supposedly. So could be the first. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, at least when it comes to written records, you know what I mean. Some of these civilizations that we know of as the first civilizations were the first people to really write shit down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because
so I could read a little bit of the back.
Hell yeah.
So it says so the first story is obviously the Enuma Elish is when the two primeval waters, the salt and fresh water, entered into marriage and brought into being the first of the gods. Thus the Babylonian creation epic begins. Its strange and incredible tale with the words Enuma Elish, meaning when the heavens above, plunge into a mystic realm of dragons ranging the depths of the primordial sea, when God declared war on God, and the winner emerged as the powerful ruler of all men and matter. With formidable powers, the gods set into motion the universe and made mankind to perform their work upon the earth. To shape the natural world and raise their glorious temples, hear the song of Marduk the champion, the mighty slayer of the creature Tiamat, and a tale of how one man came to survive the great flood, brought by the gods to wipe out humankind forever, in two tales which underlie those which achieved such greatness and magnificence in the pages of the book of Genesis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting, right?
Blown away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting. What is interesting is how a little bit you talked about earlier, like the usage of natural elements to understand the world and describe things within stories, and use those as story devices even. So it's like floods back then, pretty common bad thing to happen. Like it's like there's no context where a flood's a good thing.
Yeah.
But so they're having fun though with the biblical stories, right? Narratively, they have a little bit of fun there with these great floods in a way, because in some of these stories they're treated as like a cleanse. This flood, well, yes, the flood is bad, it kills people, but this actually is a good thing. You know what I mean? It's like God's starting over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like and that's what led to now. It's part of the events that led to now. So in a way, it is a good thing, right? But the it is so viscerally bad that it's so easy for someone back then to understand it. You know what I mean? And two, also the usage of fresh and salt water, right?
Yeah.
Again, natural elements just used to describe and used as metaphor.
Well, the first story is about supposedly a fight between Marduk and Tiamat. And that's the first story. And then the second story is the Atrahasis, which is the flood. So the first one tells just like a story about formidable powers, or just like two people fighting each other. And then it just obviously it talks about dragons, and that's basically how the people who wrote this were depicted what actually could have happened, or
yeah, they're imagining
by saying dragons and stuff. However, they could kind of comprehend what the story they were listening to or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how they wrote it down. So
yeah, for sure.
And so basically, I just wanted to point out how this flood story resembles the one in the Bible. So how it kind of connects. So yeah, I'm gonna just read what this one says in the Genesis.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's it's Genesis 6. Noah and the flood. So Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, and he walked faithfully with God. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight and was full of violence. God saw how corrupt the earth had become, for all the people on the earth had corrupted their ways. So God said to Noah, I am going to put an end to all people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. I am surely going to destroy both them and earth. So make yourself an ark of cypress wood, make rooms in it and coat it with pitch inside and out. This is how you are to build it. The ark is to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. Make a roof for it, leaving below the roof an opening 1 cubit high all around. But put a door on the side of the ark and make lower, middle, and upper decks. I'm going to bring floodwaters on the earth to destroy all life under the heavens. Every creature that has the breath of life in it, everything on earth will perish. But I will establish my covenant with you, and you will enter the ark, you and your sons, and your wife, and your sons' wives with you. You are to bring into the ark 2 of all living creatures, male and female, to keep them alive with you. 2 of every kind of a bird, of every kind of animal, and of every kind of creature that moves along the ground will come to you to be kept alive. You are to take every kind of food that is to be eaten and stored away as food for you and for them. Noah did everything just as God commanded him. Okay, so that's basically what that says. Yeah, so that was that. What that said.
The biblical one.
Yeah, biblical one, and I'm gonna read the one in here. Yeah, so basically, the story of basically God told Noah to build the ark and then take 2 of every animal and his family, right? Like he basically told him that he had some sort of relationship with God, right? That he wanted to keep him alive, right? Yeah.
Indeed. He had that hookup. He had the connection. God was like, look, bro, I'm killing all these motherfuckers. He's like fucking school shooter energy. God had some big school shooter energy in this chapter, dude. He's just, don't come to school tomorrow.
Yeah.
Don't come to Earth tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm flooding this bitch.
Yeah. Let me see.
I love it. You know how like there's those. Have you ever seen this preachers where they try and be like super hip, like make like the like modern analogies to like connect with the kids? You know what I mean? It's just like that's what I imagine. Like so, like one of those guys just taking it a little too far, trying to connect with the kids, and then that's one of their bits. Sorry,
okay, so.
continue.
No, yeah, it's all right. I'm looking for the.
I'm doing jokes right now. I'm
right,
doing material.
No, do your thing.
I'm running material. Running my God.
Okay,
jokes.
so
all right, you got
this is where kind of their point. This is where kind of it starts how it says in the Bible kind of. So it says, Atrahasis raised his voice to be heard, speaking to his master when he was at the reed hut where he spoke to his lord Enki. I have experienced a portentous dream, which was terrible. The waters of the river began to surge, turning up and rising, flooding its bank and spreading over the entire landscape. There I struggled for breath as though life was ending. But as to what it might have meant, this was not made clear. It would be best if it was made known to me while dreaming. So the meaning of a dream received as an omen is certain. Enki raised his voice to be heard, speaking to his servant. I sent the dream to relate to you what you need to know. Atrahasis raised his voice to be heard, speaking to his master. Lord, please make known to me the meaning of my dream. Tell me plainly that I might understand its implications. Enki raised his voice to be heard, speaking to his servant. You say it should be made known to me while dreaming, to pay heed to the substance that I will pass along to you. While hear every utterance, read hut, attend to every word, take apart your house, and with the timbers construct a boat. Put aside your property for the sake of saving living things. The boat you construct must be sized with proper proportion. The length of it and the width of it should be equivalent. Put a roof upon it like that which covers the deep apsu. Cover it all so that even the sun might not peek inside. Construct with it both upper decks and lower decks. The ropes must be made durable enough to endure strain. The bitumen must be made strong to lend its sturdiness, for I will make the rains fall upon you where you stand, descending like a wealth of fowl, like a treasure of fish. Atrahasis opened the sand timer to fill it with sand. Enki told him the amount of sand that would be required, enough to last the duration of the flood. For 7 nights, Atrahasis heard every word that Enki had spoken to him. He brought together the elders, who assembled at his door. Atrahasis raised his voice to them that he might be heard. Okay, yeah, so that's mostly of that. That's basically the. To me, that sounds similar to that. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like this predates the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So
do we think they're talking about the same flood? Do we think that these are two different floods?
Well, that's the thing. It's like there's similarities in how a God told the person. In here, he told them in a dream, right? Mm-hmm. He told them in a dream, and then in there, he just kind of just told them.
He just told them what was
up. So this one is not as. I guess it's not as.
That was
specific.
The school shooter. Yeah, that was the school shooter one. Yeah, here, this was like actual. But
this one to me just kind of sounds more like understandable. Like, okay, like this is how you told me, and like why it's gonna happen, and like
it's definitely creepier. It's definitely a little bit more supernatural because you got the dream. You're like, oh, like he has the precognition, basically of this flood happening.
Yeah, like this is basically saying, okay, God came to me and told me.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, God came and told me
like
not to come to school tomorrow. Whereas I had a dream about a school shooting, and then God was just like, "Yeah, that's gonna happen. By the way, do X, Y, and Z."
Yeah. And you know what's crazy?
Make a strong ass boat because it's coming.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. When I read this, after I read this, dude, I had a dream. I had the same dream of a flood. Of like it didn't really look like. I mean, it kind of looked like a flood, but it was like waves, and then like a big ball was like coming down and like crashing water. Basically, is what I saw. It was crazy. Like I was like,
one of my recurring nightmares is like a giant tidal wave.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
For whatever reason, that's a big one. Tornadoes. That's another another recurring nightmare. It's like I'll be in like there's multiple tornadoes happening. Like I'll be like driving. It's like flat. I'm in Oklahoma for whatever reason. Like, I'm a storm chaser. In my dream.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just trying to just go to like do something mundane.
Yeah.
So there's fucking tornadoes.
Yeah.
Inconveniencing me. So
basically the Babylonians, their god deities were supposedly the Anunnaki. Mm-hmm. We've talked about those before, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so this is basically the Anunnaki, I guess. The Marduk, Tiamat, Enki, the one that says in the thing. Those were the names of their deities. So,
so polytheistic.
Yeah. So I mean, so I guess in a way those people believed in people that were gods, maybe, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it
Well,
just depends.
that they thought were gods. You don't think?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends. Like, I'm not too sure. Did we went into it? Were they described as people that were like had human avatars? You know, or like gods that had human avatars? Because that's a pretty common.
No, I think no. Well, my theory is that well, obviously no, it's kind of known now, but like it was people that were advanced, and so the other people that weren't so advanced thought they were gods because they were advanced. Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's the plot of Stargate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Stargate?
Yeah. It's basically the ancient alien theory, you know.
Like
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like they're advanced. These people are more advanced than me. So it's like they're fucking and then usually in Stargate it's just an alien.
Yeah.
That inhabits the body of a human.
Yeah.
Avatar, because it's easier for humans to identify with another human versus some fucking wild ass alien.
Wait,
creature.
what took in the body? The alien?
Yeah. Alien inhabits a human body.
Yeah.
Because
but this is saying like aliens look like us. You know, they basically could look like us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like they inhabit a human form so that humans won't be suspicious.
They already are our form. Like they are us. Like
they are
they
humans.
look like us.
Yeah, they are because
they're
are
humans, but they're advanced humans.
Yeah, just advanced humans. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
Yeah, not fucking just aliens.
Yeah, not just like green-eyed dudes. Like I mean, there could be some creepy fucking aliens out there, but you know, we never know. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, it's just
we never know.
So it's like the whole the Anunnaki is like interesting. Like, I mean, it's like, do you believe like, do you think like there was some there could have been some advanced technology like back way before? Like, I mean, if we see it with like the structures and you know with certain megaliths and
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like,
like because obviously, I mean, there's these people who are called geomythologists, and they kind of read mythology to find real places.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, trying to figure out.
So basically, there's some sort of truth to mythology that the people that they were depicting as myth, Zeus or Poseidon, like it could have actually been somebody who was advanced, and then that's how they depicted them. Like
yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you know, and
so you do think there's some truth to myth, like some truth to the myth?
I mean, it just depends. A lot of myths are, you know, oftentimes translated through many languages over the course of time. So who knows, one, what gets lost in translation, you know, and then two, what gets changed from, you know, just speakers, you know, choice on coloring. Because, like, think about this. Like, we just didn't write shit down for the longest time. Like, the Greeks were oral historian, or, like, yeah, like, you know, they kept their histories orally, like, through, like, the Odyssey, the Iliad. And the only reason why these things are written down was because somebody at some point wrote them down after the fact. You know what I mean? The stories were remembered, though. You know what I mean? Because they were so classic, and that's how they were. You know, their oral history is kept up by people talking about it, right? And so much history was recorded that way before people wrote shit down. So just think about that. Right? Think about how much stuff is just lost.
Yeah.
Because people just didn't write. We just didn't have the wherewithal to fucking write it down. Yeah. And so eventually people started writing it down. Not everybody, but some people did. And then more and more people did because that became the popular thing to do. Because, like, hey, if you had your civilization or your belief system had a fancy fucking pamphlet,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, or something, like,
Yeah.
it's better than just the stupid oral history. So
Mm-hmm.
think about, how much shit in these stories changed over time. And to your point, it's just like, yes, at some point maybe these people were colored as gods, as otherworldly, when they at some point maybe they were just people, like they were rendered by the story as more as human, rather than god, like, in the sense. But the way that they treat them, though, the deities in I think in Greek mythology specifically, in that I think they are kind of, because there's a bunch of stuff, because it is almost like a drama in and of itself with the gods. Like they're not gods in the sense of, like, the Christian God, like of like an omnipotent, like, that's not their definition of a god.
Yeah.
So then that's, again, you know what I mean. The concept itself is just so, like,
But drama is pretty a human kind of.
It's a human trait, for
right?
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That we know.
Yeah. So, well, okay. So here's my theory. Basically, that if this story resembles the one in the Bible, then what other myths could also be connected to the Bible? Like certain similar stories that were supposedly myths, but that was more of the actual story than, if it predates the Bible,
Yeah, it's, the flood thing really is it's a good one to because that's like, that's pretty noticeable. A giant flood that covers the world. Well, that's going to be multiple sources would probably record an event like that. So like the fact that you have multiple sources recording an event like that, well, there you go.
Yeah.
But
so
it's going to be harder with, like, other events that are a little smaller scale,
Well, there is other events too, like the Adam and Eve story,
Garden of Eden.
Yeah, that's also was another myth, another Sumerian myth that was similarly talks about that, how they created the first Adamu, and it sounds like Adam, and then how they basically just
well, they created
they have
from
their
Adam's
creation
rib.
story. They have the similar creation story, but the depiction is that the snake was actually a god called Enki, which is the one in there, and then God, Yahweh, or whatever, was Enlil, and so it's Enki and Enlil, and so Enki taught the Adamu, knowledge, and then and so Enlil in the Bible, Enlil basically didn't like that he gave them knowledge. So the Bible story also says that, like, the apple is supposedly the knowledge.
Yeah, that's why
it's like they learn from good and bad.
Yeah, that's why teacher apple, that classic. You give your teacher an apple, like the school, and apple's representation of education. Is because apples represent knowledge, the tree of knowledge. Eat the tree of knowledge, you're cast out of the Garden of Eden. The reason why we're cast out of the Garden of Eden is because we can't know anything, because ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're totally ignorant to
but then the Bible turns it into, it's Satan, or it's like, it's the devil. And it's like
temptation.
It's like, it's bad to know or to get this knowledge.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
No, I don't know. I think in this context of the story, yes, God doesn't want Adam and Eve, to know the horrors of the world. He wants them to remain ignorant in paradise, in the Garden of Eden, because what's the fucking point of enjoying paradise if you are going to just focus on the horrors and all the dark aspects of life?
Well, but it's not necessarily just that. It's like they learned about good and bad because it's it says that they realized that they were naked, and so basically they realized
shame.
They
shame.
realized that they weren't just like just random people or whatever. Like they were human being, but like more empowered. Like they were like, oh shit, like now I'm naked, and like now I know that this is not a good thing, and like.
Well, they know guilt and shame. That's the thing. It's like that's the knowledge, I guess, in part that they're gaining. Yeah. But but that's again why if I give you everything you need, why are you going to feel shameful? Why are you going to feel guilty? Mm-hmm. Why are you going to know those things? Why do you want to know those things? Mm-hmm. In fucking paradise, I'm God. I'm giving you everything that you want. We had it made, dude. We had it fucking made in paradise, and that bitch had to go and ruin it by eating the apple.
Yeah, but that what I'm trying to say is the myth tells a different kind of perspective to that story. Like it's not saying, oh, this somebody ate an apple and now they know stuff. Like, no, it's saying a god, an advanced being. Taught them knowledge, mm-hmm. and basically could have given them some technology or whatever, and like then now they're like
interpretation,
and now they're like, oh, well, why'd you do that? So now they think they're gods too,
Yeah, I mean that's an interpretation of it, I think.
Yeah, Well, that's the Sumerian interpretation of it.
What is the Sumerian interpretation of it? They didn't.
Well, it doesn't say. Well, it doesn't obviously say. It says knowledge, but it obviously doesn't say technology and stuff. But that's the theory. Like, if we believe that there was people more advanced back then that were gods, that's the kind of knowledge they would give them, or they would give them. Well, actually, I think I'm getting too ahead of myself. I think the beginning of the knowledge was just like to know certain things, and then just to like know how to live on your own, or just how to prosper on your own or whatever. That was kind of feel like the first knowledge, and then eventually they could have gave them something advanced for the humans to use.
I don't know, like the at least with
like that's when they started building the pyramids and stuff, because they gave them the knowledge, they gave them the technology to build those things, to build all those ancient structures.
I mean, I feel like it's to cut a bunch of stone and stack it is like, come on, is it really that hard?
Tons, bro. It's tons.
You got like
hundreds of tons.
You got thousands of slaves to throw at this.
Nah, see, that's the thing.
You got
everybody
bodies.
Still thinks it's like slaves and just like they were just dragging them around. Like, nah, there's also a theory that there wasn't even slaves in Egypt, and like,
oh, well, okay. I mean, everything you can, tons of stuff in ancient history can be like questioned, because a lot of the sources come down to
But the thing is,
limited
the
on
pyramids
sources. There's some, I think, physical evidence to suggest certain things, though. Like, I don't think you can totally dismiss a lot of like all of ancient history. But
yeah, but the pyramids are facing true north, and that they're also symmetrical, and then the whole pyramid, from one pyramid to another, it all looks kind of like the I forgot. It's like some constellation in space. It basically resembles the same, and there's a lot of astronomy when it comes to the pyramid and all that stuff. Like they had some sort of knowledge of astronomy. Is it astronomy or astrology?
Astronomy.
Astrology too.
Astronomy is a science. No, don't say astrology.
Huh?
Astrology sucks. That's not science.
Astrology is the horoscope stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
they had some knowledge of astronomy, I feel like, and that's pretty interesting.
It's easy.
It's like
easy enough to have knowledge of astronomy if you just fucking look up. It was just like, it's there, the sky, there's stars. You can fucking see constellations. You don't need a telescope. It was just like Copernicus and those dudes were like the first ones that had like access to like fucking some measure of like magnification. And so that's when it starts to become into, like, again, we're talking about writing shit down. You know, some of the first science is being done there, where because he's just recording.
Yeah, but they're basically mirroring space with structures on Earth.
Yeah, and like what I'm saying is, it's like, you know, I don't necessarily think that's like that weird, especially if you're fucking human beings and you don't have anything to fucking do. And you're just sitting, it's ancient times. You just look up and you see, hey, like there's a shape in the sky.
People who just
Let's,
have
like,
nothing
organize.
to do aren't gonna build a big ass pyramid.
What else are you gonna do?
Dude, but that shit has held the test of time. Like, it's way too advanced to say, oh, just some random slaves or dudes built it.
I don't know, man. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying it's like that. I don't think that people say that's crazy. I don't think that's crazy. I think that it's totally possible that a bunch of people could have just built that. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, I think that's remains a possibility too. I don't think we can just dismiss that like either. Like,
I mean, we won't really know the realization until we actually go see these sites and stuff in person. Like, you know,
that helps.
That helps, obviously. Just pictures and shit is not gonna help.
Yeah, the scale and understanding it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's just.
No, I mean, I think, you know, there's.
And it's like all over the world too. It's like it's not just
Stargate.
Huh?
Stargate, the pyramids are like they're like landing sites for like the spaceships.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I like Stargate.
Well, the one of the theories that the pyramid is like a power plant, like a power plant, some sort of generated some sort of electricity. And yeah, but
some sort of hydroelectric.
Yeah.
Out in the desert.
Yeah.
No, that'd be crazy though. I mean,
but I think it's just we're getting down more and deeper into the creation of the origins of humanity. The more we discover things, like the more we discover ancient sites that are way older than us, or the way older than we thought they were. You know, then our story's gonna have to be pushed back and be like, okay, so where is the starting point of humanity? Like, how did it actually begin? Like, you know, like if the Bible says, oh, if religion says 6,000 years, then that's obviously has been debunked. It's like, no, now we have to spread the story out and really figure out how did we get here?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and like the you know, and that's what like the balance is, you know, obviously there's plenty of theories out there, and like, you know, it's not to say be dismissive of it, but it's like there's so much stuff that, like, in order to really give stuff attention, or like really, you know, it's like it has to be something that's been scrutinized and been reviewed and has stood up to, you know, criticism. Like, that's important for any.
Yeah, well, yeah, everything has to be criticized, and then everybody has to come.
Yeah, it has to be scrutinized.
Yeah,
you know, we need to put things under that microscope. And that's the thing. Is like people, I think, sometimes are worried about. You know, being like you know, because like sometimes people are quick to believe something, or like they invest their time into something, and if it becomes revealed that what I believe is not true, then like then they feel like embarrassed or something by it, you know what I mean? Or so and so they become this, like the ego comes into play, and they're like, all right, I'm gonna like you know, not you know, be rational about this. But
but we all have to believe in something, you know? And it's like people believe in stuff now. It's like we all have different religions where different people believe different things.
Yeah, I just mean for like if we're going to like, you know, academically, you know, like.
But I think at the end,
if you're gonna make like an argument like academically, like you have to do that legwork. You know what I mean? Bring forth your evidence. You know what I mean? Because like that's just what it is. Like if you want people to take you seriously. Now, if you want to just like talk theories and just, you know, pontificate, like that's fine. Like you can do that too. People are allowed. You can just go and say and talk about whatever you want. but don't be like, I need to be taken seriously, but also just be shooting my mouth off about whatever. You know what I mean? It's just like you can't have that both ways. Like you kind of have to decide on what you're doing when you're gonna go like speak on some shit like this. Because like with this podcast, for instance, right? Like there are eras of this podcast where we do have legitimate like, you know, research. We have somebody who's doing research, who's bringing information, and we're listening to them, and we're and we're talking about it. But it's also like the expectation for the show is like you're gonna come and you're gonna learn something. You know what I mean? And so it's like that's changed over time. Some of it's more like entertainment now. Like, you know, it's like we just kind of do it for fun versus like it's more serious, informative task. But that doesn't mean that you know, but I'm aware of that, and like I try and sell it that like I don't like now. I know that I'm not really like, okay, like this is serious, informative stuff. I'm gonna make sure that I have my good information. You know what I mean? Like make sure that like. Because, like, if something was weird or something, like, with the information, originally, we would call it out. We would, like, really wonder about, like, well, how did they get to that conclusion? So, like, but now it's, like, it's not that serious. So it's, like, you have to, it depends on what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Well, my point is that people just need to do their, I'm not saying like, take, you know, just say, like, take my word for it or anything. Just, like, do your own research. Like, the things I'm talking about, just do your own research. So then you can we can all kind of just learn and stuff, you know, more.
Yeah.
And
if like you have a serious interest in it, like, you know, you should definitely just you shouldn't just follow what other people say. Like
strong theories, but I mean, you know, I feel like everybody at the end of the day has to do their own research, you know, not just you know, and I'm just kind of telling my, you know, just my experience of what I've researched or like what I've kind of learned or seen around. And I mean, I read books and you know, just obviously watch videos and stuff. But I mean, you know, it's like it's a lot of things that connect together, like religion, politics, ancient history. Like, you know, you kind of get into that whole thing where you kind of start connecting dots and stuff. So one thing kind of leads to another if you kind of just kind of are looking for it, you know? Or if you're interested in it, you know?
And that's the thing that's just what's important about it too. It's like, you know, you have to like, you know, that's the thing. It's like some people will like just shoot their mouth, you know what I mean? Like some people don't give a fuck about whatever, and they just are trolls and they shoot their mouth off about whatever, you know, and they get people riled up over some shit. You're just like, dude, like it's like this person that has no investment in this at all. So it's like, you know, if they don't really have any skin in the game, some people are just not worth responding to. You know, it depends on what your goal is, what your level's at. I'm shooting the shit, so I don't really care too heavily about like, you know, if somebody comes on my podcast and says some off the wall crazy shit, it's not like I'm gonna be like, oh God, I'm freaking out. Like I don't want to put that out there. You know what I mean? Like I don't care. Like really, you can say whatever. Like because in my mind, I'm like, well, you know, the people have the right, you know, in their own mind, like you can scrutinize yourself. Like that's your responsibility. You know what I mean? It's just like, to me, the idea that like, you know, we're talking about censorship and stuff, like that the government needs to police what people can say or things like that, to me is insane.
Yeah.
Like why? Like, you know, why is that their responsibility? Like, why is what the fucking shit that you choose to watch, you know what I mean? No one's forcing you to fucking watch content on YouTube or whatever the fucking you're consuming your garbage. And like, you know, and so it's like, why is it the government's responsibility to police that? You know what I mean? Like what you consume.
Yeah.
You know, and what you hear. So it's like, to me, that's like why, like, censorship is just like kind of crazy to me. Like, and you know, I think like decency standards are like one of those gray areas where it's like, you know, for the longest time, like there's certain things you couldn't say on TV, certain things you couldn't put on TV. And I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing that like, hey, like you can't put, you know, like just can't have like tits on television all the time. You know what I mean? It's like this, you know, it's like then cable channels did it and they only did it after certain times and, you know, whatever. So it's like, anyway, like point being, um, you know, I'm not here to tell anybody what like they can and can't say or like think about or consume. Like I think that's all up to you, you know. And but the idea that like somebody's gonna tell you, you know, no, you can't consume that, or no, you shouldn't think about something, or you know, you shouldn't look a certain place. I think that's bad.
Yeah.
I think anytime you're doing that,
Yeah.
and like there's certain topics, yeah, I agree. Like maybe you know you don't want to be just spreading certain things around, like hateful ideologies and shit like that. But there are times and contexts where that deserves study. You know what I mean? That deserves to be looked at.
Yeah.
In certain settings, right? So it's like, you know, and things that are to be learned from it, right? You know, it's like again, like how do you learn? How do we progress as a society and gain knowledge if we censor shit and we don't let people actually learn from the actual fucking. So anyway, yeah, I'm just rambling now.
No, yeah, that's true, man. We're losing the right.
We're losing the rights.
Yeah, man.
Taking the rights.
It's crazy, man. What's going on in the world right now?
Yep.
Country, man.
Can't believe this beef.
I think we need
this beef between Israel and Palestine.
I say free Palestine, man.
Free Palestine.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it is crazy.
And I mean, I think our country's run by Israeli lobbyists, man.
Oh yeah, Israeli lobbyists.
Like all the lobbyists are Israeli, bro.
I wouldn't say all of them, but like there's a lot.
Like all the secretaries.
They have a very powerful lobby for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
They're very powerful.
They're calling the shots, man.
I mean, in a lot of ways they are, you know.
In ways, you know.
You know, but you know, there's definitely, you can tell, like, there's they are certainly, with the actions they take, they're certainly emboldened to like, you know, behave a certain way that like, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you know that the government definitely could do something, and that they don't. And you kind of wonder about that. No, like you talk about like Mossad and like, you know, the Israeli intelligence and stuff. It's like, you kind of wonder about that, like kind of what their influence on things are. But no, but don't get me wrong. Israelis are like, I think by and large, you know, like any group of people, you know, a mosaic, a human mosaic.
But that's what I think.
Of perspectives and beliefs on the matter. There's some hardliners and hardline nationalist Israelis.
Yeah.
There's some that are sympathetic to what is going on with the Palestinians. And there's a spectrum of that. You know what I mean? And so I don't like to paint Israelis as like as a monolith, because it's not. Like they really aren't as a people. They just aren't. Like
are what?
A monolith. Like
they're
not homogeneous. They're not all the same.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like they're like any group of people, like Americans.
No, because
like
there is Jews that are like, oh yeah, free Palestine, like
exactly.
You know,
that's what
over there, and like, and then there's some that are like, whatever Israel is doing is messed up.
Yeah,
like there's obviously different Jews with different perspectives.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and so it's like, but a lot of it gets so black and white.
Yeah,
you know, it just becomes Jew versus Arab. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just becomes just so black and white. It's just like, let's just, you know what I mean? Like it's, you try to avoid that, because it's just really, that's what I try to avoid, because it's like, no, like you don't have to agree with what Israel's doing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can also acknowledge that, like, you know, Israelis as a people are not like in total support of what's going on over there. You know what I mean? It's just like they do. You know, I do think that, you know, Israel, like the whole, and like everyone, people debate it, like their right to exist. You know what I mean? It's just like, but like, look, World War II, you know, you fucking lose. You know what I mean? It's like, sorry, Turks, you fucking teamed up with was it the Turks? Yeah, it was the Turks. They fucking, pretty sure. I can't remember.
World War II?
Yeah.
The Jews?
It was where we took after World War II, the state of Israel was created,
Oh
after
yeah.
the atrocities that the
Yeah.
Jews suffered
Yeah. Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
hands of the Nazis.
Yeah.
And I believe that the land was annexed from, I want to say Turkey, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I can't remember. I'm not fucking sure right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm probably wrong.
Yeah.
But where it was taken from, though, like the obviously, you have this population there of Arabs that are living there at the time. You know what I mean? Now it's not a fucking developed area.
Yeah.
Jews come moving in, and now everything, they start building it up, and now you have the state of Israel.
I think that's where religion just kind of plays a big part, and it just divides people, and it just tells you like, oh, my book says that God gave me this land, and we are the chosen people. Like, you really think God did that or told you that? Like, you think you're so oh, you're the chosen people, so yeah, you guys get this land. Like, God is gonna worry about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you believe you're the chosen one, why?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you fucking think you deserve that?
But it's just this mentality, this beliefs that like drives people.
Who lived in Palestine first? The Canaanites. Everyone's like, who was there first? Like, everyone's trying to claim, like, and honestly, it's like that's not even the issue to me. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't even think that Israel like deserves to be there because they're the chosen. It's like, look, like, it's just this was what the international community agreed on after the fucking World War II.
Yeah.
Like, there's winners and there's losers in war, and the winners get to fucking decide some things. All right, and this is what happened. We decided some shit. And we established the state of Israel. Now we got to fucking deal with it. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what's so fucking annoying about the conversation is because there are these people on they're just anti-Israel people. You know what I mean? They're like, it needs to go away. Israel needs to just go away. It's just like, it's not going to happen. All right, it's a non-fucking starter, so it's just shut the fuck up about it. You know what I mean? Like, because we're just rooted in Jew extermination. You know what I mean? It's just like that's all what it comes down to. It's like, all right,
like, okay,
it's not gonna happen.
They can obviously, they could have existed like in a 2-state country, and then but not they just not supposed to commit genocide and just like all out war and like innocent people die and stuff for all this like. They can exist, but like not in that way that you're trying to exist.
Well, yeah, exactly. There's a balance, right? It's like, it's like existence doesn't mean like just bombing civilians indiscriminately, and that's again like. But some people, again, there's some people. There's just like you're saying, Israel lobby, and they are strong, but there is a very strong anti-Israel, like again, anti-Semitic sentiment. That's the thing. It's just like, look, I get it. I understand people's issues with what the state of Israel does, but people get so caught up in the team sports, they really become apologists for some pretty awful people and ideas out there because it just is in alignment with anti-Israel. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people. And this is why we talk about earlier, like evidence and skepticism. It's important because you don't just want to align yourself with some fucking rando crazy person that's got some wild ass ideas about shit. You know what I mean? Look, and I'm not saying that like, people are wrong, to be critical of Israel. It's just like there's a lot of ways in which anti-Semites are very good at laundering their bullshit through other ways.
We'll see what happens with the world.
Indeed, Sam. Indeed. Wise words.
I'll bring some theories around.
Gotta bring some theories. We get so serious. Sometimes I just want to like fucking make fun of shit. That's why, like, back in the day. So like that was the old format that we used to do, is when we have somebody who would just bring research, and then like a couple of us would just like listen to them and just like talk shit while they would just kind of go through their story, but like it would kind of flow, right? Like we keep the flow going. It wouldn't like
like make fun of the scenario, like of the history.
The historical facts and shit, and question like how they would know certain things or like all that stuff. Anyway, so it was like a little bit more rapid, but like so back in that time, like it was just just jokes.
Right.
It's just working on jokes. So, and I miss jokes. I miss doing jokes. It's just fun doing jokes.
Okay. Well, yeah.
I like being
then we'll try to switch it up.
I like being a prankster.
Okay.
I don't know about pranks, but jokes for sure. Pranks are forced as fuck, dude. Anytime I see like somebody like a prank channel, you see those shits like onto like prank channels and they're like, oh look, I'm gonna prank my wife. It's like, dude, no, you're not.
Yeah.
This is so staged. It's like nobody's fucking pranking their wife.
Yeah.
Like she's gonna like lose her shit on you if you're actually fucking pranking her. She's gonna beat your ass.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so if you like this, go follow us on Instagram and Twitter at HistoricHole. That was my Nicolas Cage impersonation. Nicolas Cage. Yeah. If Sam, you want to shout out your social media, go follow Sam. He lifts. He posts his lifts.
Yeah, follow me. I just post the link.
Yeah, post the link. You'll find it in the at.
Yeah.
In the description. That's what it is. Yeah. Yep. And all my shit's in there too. And that's it for this week, I think. Thanks for listening.